Hello friends, how are you? I got my second vaccine dose the other day, which is why I've been kind of away for this last week. I've been feeling like ass. I've also started three separate projects, and I just had no idea how to handle doing all three at once. Anyways, here I am. I needed something relaxing and chill for today, so I'm going to be painting a portrait in my Ohuhu sketchbook with watercolors because I wanted to test how the paper would handle water. And I'm also going to be doing the same drawings with alcohol markers just to get a little bit more practice, which I could use with the Bianyo set. Okay, so for today I kind of wanted to talk about being an introvert and what the pandemic has done to that. And by that I mean it's exacerbated the introvert symptoms, let's say. I've pretty much always known that I've been an introvert. I get easily exhausted by people. I get easily exhausted by being in public places. I do like my own company. I like to have my own personal space. And because in Ontario we've been in lockdown for a majority of this year and a bit, I guess, I've just been alone with my thoughts and that's it. I mean, okay, I do live with my family, but we all tend to keep to ourselves. So besides the comfort of knowing that someone else is in the house, it hasn't really been that much of like a helpful socializing thing. But now that I have my second dose and I know things are going to be opening up slowly, I'm like presented with the option to go out into the world and do stuff, and I don't know how. I think that a lot of us are going to be experiencing this now, and people have been talking about and making memes about how they don't know how to go out and like act like real people anymore. And it's very relatable. When I was getting the vaccine, of course I had to be out in public and in front of people, and at the very end, after they make you wait like 15 minutes, you have to go and give your like paper to the last people you're gonna see throughout the whole process, and they just have to like print you out like a little confirmation that you got it. And I like went up to the guy and I was confused about what to do because it was a bit different from when I got my first dose, and he just kind of looked really annoyed at me, and I was kind of just handing him the paper and he was looking at me like, and I was so confused, and he's like, show me your paper, and I was like, okay. Anyways, it was very passive aggressive, and I didn't stop thinking about it for like the whole day after. And I just kept replaying the interaction in my head, and I just kept being like, what did I do to like deserve that? I keep thinking about all the other interactions I'm going to have, and how much they're going to affect me. All of my social skills are like in overdrive, because I'm trying to overcompensate for a year of no practice. But then I kind of started thinking about how much of a disadvantage introverts are going to have. I feel like during the pandemic, introverts were doing okay. I feel like a lot of extroverts were losing their minds, being inside all the time, not being able to go anywhere. And all the introverts are like, yeah, I mean, it sucks, but like we can just chill at home, entertain ourselves, it's fine. But now that everything's going to be opening up again, extroverts are going to go out there and they're going to soar, and then the introverts, well, we're just going to be more introverted. But thinking about that made me think about how our society is so extrovert oriented. And I really do think that the world is built for extroverts. Not entirely, of course, different people have chances to present their skills in different ways, but I think as like a majority, for our current capitalist success chasing world, I think extroverts have a really big advantage, because in terms of jobs and careers, everything feels like it's sort of centered around social climbing. Sorry, pardon me. I think we're calling it networking now. And I just can't really force myself to network, or at the very least to do it well. It feels really fake, disingenuine. Like I really don't enjoy small talk. I don't enjoy keeping up with people who don't share similar values, because all of that exhausts me. And I think a lot of introverts will probably be able to relate to that. It also made me think about how if you're a woman in a male-dominated field especially, right, because a lot of networking is about, you know, like going up in position. So you're trying to network with people who have a higher status. And if you're in a male dominated like world, yes, but career, the higher positions are probably going to be filled by men. So you have to network, aka you have to kiss ass, and you have to laugh at stupidly inappropriate jokes, and you have to try to fit in with their weird sense of humor and let things go. And let me just tell you, I could not survive in a male-dominated field, because I would probably be fired instantly, because I would not be able to let the disrespect just go. And so many women have to in order to survive in their fields, and that makes me so angry. But okay, I've ranted enough, I think. My whole point from the beginning, I think, was that everyone is so excited to get their second vaccine so that they can go and live a normal life, and I'm just mostly excited because that means I'll be safe. But having the option to go places is nice. I just don't want to go places. This past year, you know, I've settled into a routine. Routine might be a little much. I've settled I've settled into just being at home all the time. So now what? I have to go out and like interact with people and like get on public transportation and what? Present my awkward self to others, trying not to talk to myself in public like I've been doing alone in my room for 365 days at least. But you know, I've been talking a lot about skill on this channel in the last little bit, and I guess this is a sort of reminder that social skill is a skill, and then anytime you don't get to practice a skill for too long, it dwindles. It really does. And so now I have to remind myself that it's gonna be okay. I'm probably going to be very awkward, and it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve to interact in a way that doesn't make me cringe and keep me up at night. It doesn't help that I have a little bit of anxiety. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with this. I guess I just have this sort of very kind of empty sort of what now feeling, because everything has been on pause, and I feel like I created this very safe space for myself in my head and in my room. And now, you know, in order to be a productive, functioning member of society, that safe space is kind of has to be gone. And I'm really anxious about it, which is really strange, because I feel like most people are just really excited to have this over with. And I'm really excited for it to stop affecting lives and taking lives and ruining health. But I'm not ready for everything to go back to normal, because let's be honest, normal wasn't really that great to begin with. You know, the constant hustle bustle, overworking, productivity, all that stuff. I feel like a lot of people are kind of now realizing what are we working for? What are we, you know, we're literally overexhausting ourselves for these billionaires who just don't care about you, you know, we're just numbers in a capitalist game. And yeah, I'm back to ranting about capitalism, surprise. But yeah, if you're watching this, let me know if you are experiencing similar emotions and don't know how to deal with them. It's really confusing. It's been a really confusing time for everybody, and I'm kind of scared to see what the long-term effects are after all of this is over. Okay, I'm gonna go. I hope you liked how the drawings turned out. The watercolor one just needed way more contrast. I feel like I'm still learning. Also, the watercolors, they were sitting on the paper a little too much. The paper handled the water pretty well, which I was pretty surprised about, but of course, the surface of the paper isn't made for watercolors, so they kind of just sit on top of the page, and it's a little confusing. And then the drawing I did with alcohol markers wasn't great. I know you were supposed to use more transition colors and stuff. I knew that, but I didn't do it, and whatever. It was still a learning experience. But yeah, I will see you next time with hopefully one of the 3 videos that I've been trying to do the past week or 2. Okay, bye.